Good morning, Rabbi Isai. It's very, very geschmack to be back. It's like everything else in life. You don't appreciate it until it's gone. To be on the road is geschmackheit, but the shiurim are, challenging. So I'll just tell the Olam a little bit about our trip, not the details and all the stuff, but the trip was a tremendous success. We set out to do a couple of things, and we were in more than a couple. We set out to give and show Hakar Satoiv to our sponsors, and make sure that they enjoy themselves. And these are the three things I said in my opening speech, and that they should get to know each other on a different level and develop friendships for life. Every single one of them enjoyed it immensely. Every single one of them made new friendships. We mixed it up. Every meal, somebody else. I don't know if it was on purpose. At least for me, it was. Every meal sat with somebody else, another couple, another person from the shir, and really people bonded in crazy ways, schmoozing. Different people schmoozing with each other on the side for 2-3 hours straight, getting to know each other and taking their phone numbers, etc., etc. Mamish, getting into it. The Avira, we had a great band this time, something new. We didn't have three Hasidic guys with great voices. They're all like chasana singers, three professional chasana singers. They know harmonies, they know songs, and they came with loudspeakers and instruments, and they were just, wherever we went, everything was set up perfectly, and we had a great time. In the middle, I'll tell you what happened on Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos itself was like maybe 9 something was Motzei Shabbos. Until the shir started was 11:30, I think it was. No? Something like 11:30 is when shir started. It's supposed to be Malava Malka. So 11:30, 12 something, we start the Malava Malka. Singing the stat, and then at the Malava Malka, every single person, this is the farewell meal, every person got up and spoke about what MDY does for them or what the whole week did for them. Very, very emotional. A lot of people broke down crying. Then in return, the people, especially myself, it's a lot of espedim and a lot of, but a lot of good stuff. Kitzer, 3:30, it's my turn to speak, and the island is already exhausted. Maybe I'll tell you a little later what I said. I think it was a good nekuda. And 3:45 a.m. Shir in what language? Hebrew. Shir in Hebrew. The problem is that all the 9 Israelis, are leaving to the airport at 5:15. 3:45, 5:15, because that means zero sleep. Not a 15-minute sleep. It means that we had to go back and pack and da-da-da. So that, kachava. So go through the night, and we get to the airport, and then it's a whole entire day of traveling through Paris. And we got home, we landed at 9 o'clock. At 11:30 p.m., shir in this base medrash. And here I am. No. So now, there's a word that I chapped, and people told me that it was an impressive word for Panovitcher. This explains everything. I started off my speech. I was also supposed to speak for 2 minutes. I spoke for 2.5 minutes, whatever. What's pshat? I asked the kasha, what's pshat that Yossi Klein spends 8 hours a day, 8 hours of his own time, and he gives from his own money over $100,000 a year to MDY. And he's orangutan in this trip, like he has nothing else to do. Every detail from beginning to end, what car, who's going to pick up who, and where's going to take who, and this and that. What's pshat? And he said a pshat, it was a mamish. I had to make fun of his pshat. It was terrible pshat. And then they asked about my wife, how she masked him to live with a person like me, not go to restaurants. So there's a lot of side things, side benefits, we'll call them. And a lot of kashas, a lot of different things about all the people that give. Meyer Fischel, took him 3 minutes to come up with millions of dollars for our new project of the Gemara. 3 minutes. 3-minute phone call. Yeah. What's pshat? I said it's a word. It's one word. Nu, what's the word? I'll let you guys that weren't there try to guess it. Huh? Cult? Okay. I hear.
Frankincense.
Torah is one. Who? What else? No? Huh? Ratzon. No? Somebody. Huh? Devotion. Dedication. I have a word, mamish. Once you hear this word, it's gonna mamish make everything make sense. The word is impact or impactful. The impact that a person does. A person has impact when a person sees what he's doing with his hours, those 8 hours a day that he spends on MDY, the $100,000, the trip, the impact it has on Klal Yisrael. When you see person after person say, "Oh, that changed my life." One of the women asked if she could get up and speak. And you say, "No, it's a small crowd." She's a principal. Her husband was a little shy. She got up. She goes, "I used to daven that my husband should learn Torah. Daven every day. And now my husband's a Talmid Chacham, crying." I mean, to hear these things, that a 6-year-old, he might be in the room, he might not be, got up and said, "I haven't learned a word since yeshiva days, and now I love learning. It's my life." It's like this. Huh? Not you. No, so B'kitzur, it's the impact. You maskim? I think it's a very strong word. And that's the... Then, Chiddush Gadol Moed, maybe I'll say it tomorrow, because I want to speak to somebody before I say this Chiddush. But a life change, not a life change, there's going to be, I hold, something very different, well, within realm of Daf Yomi, that a Chiddush Gadol that occurred on Shabbos over there. Sometimes a guy comes over to Yossi Klein during the Malav Malki, says, "I'm enjoying myself so much, I want to give you another $20,000. That was the environment of it. And then another guy came over, a younger guy. He says, "I have a real tain on you, but a real one. Why don't you come over to me to ask me if I want to sponsor the Gemara?" I said, "It's millions of dollars." He says, "I would have done it. I said, "But I didn't know you have the capability." I said, "You give a little bit here or there, but millions? It's a missed opportunity for me. I can't believe you didn't come to me." He was upset. So anyway, these were the things. Be'ez Hashem, those friendships should continue. We try to. My next idea, maybe he'll be involved in the next idea. Okay, which I'll announce tomorrow. I'll tell them tomorrow. Breakfast sponsors: William and Gail Hachman and family. Where's William Hachman? Nishdo? For the yahrzeit of our father, grandfather, and great-grandfather Morris Hachman and Moshe Meir ben Chaim Yaakov Zev HaKohen Olav Shalom. The yahrzeit was on Chav Aleph Iyar. Rabbi Yisai Sfiras HaOmer. We davened the Meir here in this Beis Medrash. I think it was over at 12:35. There's 20 people. 30 Israelis showed up to this year. 30 at 11:30. Hayom Shisha v'Arba'im Yom Shem Shisha Shavuos v'Arba Yomim Lo'imer Ba'imer. Sfiras HaOmer L'Refus Hadmor Mevision Shlita Kvod Kedushin Mor Rabbi Yisrael ben Leah Esther L'For Shlema. Official edition of the Shas Masechta Zevin Yal Shulhof Perek, the Benedict family. Daf Yudches by Jacob Gindi, dedicated in honor of our beautiful children and for that tzlach and ruchnius and gashmius. David Salom, dedicated in memory of Avi Moria, the entire Masechta. Shir sponsors Masechta. Shmuel Baruch Chaim Tzvi Dov Zichron Levracha. Did I not make you bracha?
It looked like you were missing some water there, so I thought maybe you did.
Yeah, you made a bracha.
Okay, thanks. I could have made him a Zionist on the water at this point. The Palachik Family Foundation, in gratitude to the consortium and the alliance and all they do to support MDY. Anonymous, Hatzlacha Baruchnis Uvagashmis, and thank you to Chief Benny. Anonymous, that was another kasha. Why would a person go? Think about it. Why would a person go and sell his business, a successful business, to be in an administrative position in a Daf Yomi shir? And the answer is he chapped the impact that he has on thousands and thousands of Israelis, of Hebrew speakers. He sees it. They speak to him. He sees it. They tell him, "I didn't do this, and now I'm learning." Every day. So for him, it was a no-brainer. Anonymous for complete refuah statement. Arichas Yom Talea Bas Esther. Binyamin and Danielle. I learned her name. Binyamin Danielle Rosenfeld. Brius V'Simcha. Ari Simon refuah statement. This is a monthly sponsor. Refuah statement. Avi Mori Baruch Ben Miriam. Binyamin and Danielle Rosenfeld. Parnasa B'Shefa. Moshe Ruchi Markovich, proudly supporting Daf Yomi in Spanish. Refuah statement. Rav Yaakov Ben Lulu. Nishmas Rav Yosef Ben Amil. Nishmas Rav Chaim Gedali Ben Yeshua. Mishum Dir, Mazel Tov Yaakov Schreiber, and your Siyum, a schus for you and for Shlema for Nechama Bas Shalamis. Howard Wimmer, Leonishmas of Imari Chaim Avram Ben Nachum, in honor of Bernie Liptag, who got me to MDY 2 years ago this week. You remember Bernie Liptag? Bernie the Burn. Yeah. Anonymous, Mazel Tov, this is a hard one for me. To Uri Pliavich, one of the biggest investors in Jewish education worldwide. I said yesterday, he supports over 143 schools. children. He loves children's schools, and he's a big. They have a, what's it called again? Yael Foundation. Yael Foundation. Yeah. Yael Foundation. Check it out. Here, Yael Foundation team for the merit of Uri and Yael Polyavich and their children Benjamin and Matt. Anonymous for the merit of Shidduch for Sarah Golda Bas Rivka. Anonymous for 4 Shlema 5 Rami Shaya Ben. Is it Rami Shayahu or Rami Shaya? Because they call him Avram Shaya, but the real name probably is Avram Shayo. I wonder. I'm going to say both. Avram Shayo ben Slava Devora and Rabbi Yerucham ben Yehudis. B'yom Gross in honor of my father Alan Gross for getting me to join the Daf 3 years ago. Psh, the famous Alan Gross. Binyamin Gutman in memory of my Zaidi Avram Zev ben Yitzchak, whose 90 years is today. Beis Sivan. Shalom should have an aliyah. Yuda Zev Stepsky, in celebration of 1 year doing the Daf with Rebelli, started last year. Shavuos Daf Chav Ches. Yevaldik Mazel Tov. Beautiful. Anonymous, a complete refuah shlema for Shimon Chaim, Ephraim ben Yeta Mindel, David Shakovitsky, Lilishmas, my grandmother, Nifta yesterday. Arish Chodesh, Rivka Bas Mordechai Weiss, Aleh Shalom, and Neshama should have an aliyah. Your whole family should have an achama. Koil sponsors for the month, HYK Ventures in the schus for success of all our clients. Binyamin and Daniel Rosenfeld, Brocha Beparnasa. And the YK sponsors monthly Innovations LLC as schus for Akiv Simcha Mefega and Rivka Yehuda's Bas Yafa Chaya. And the Y Art. Rabbi Isai, this one you need Kavana today, big time. Refuah Shlema for Yehonatan Eitan ben Basheva Bracha. Refuah Shlema Mordechai ben Esther. Refuah Ayela Daniel Zev and Ayela Esther. Rabbi Isai, exciting daf today. You're going to love today's daf. Very chulindik and technical, but in a geschmack way. We're holding 3 lines from the bottom of Yudzayin of the base. Omar Avuna bar Rav Katina, Omar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Shalosh Pegimai saying, there are 3 nicks that ruin things in the Torah. Begimas etzem b'Pesach. We know that you cannot break a bone of the Korban Pesach. Every family or group of people have to bring a Korban Pesach, but you have to be careful not to break etzem l'sishbu rubo. You're not allowed to break a bone. What if your knife cuts into the bone and a little tiny piece pops off the bone? You're over the Issa Deraisa. Begimas oizem b'Bchar, a firstborn male animal goes to the Kohen, provided it doesn't have a mum. If it has a mum, as small and as insignificant as a little missing part of the cartilage of the ear, a little part of the ear is missing, a little gam, you run your finger, pop, you didn't even, when you looked at it, maybe you didn't even see it. That's considered a gam, which makes the Kohen super happy, because now he could just bring it and shecht it at home. He doesn't have to bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. And different Gemaras, how the Kohen would try to, get dogs to bite it or whatever it is. But a little gam, you put a little chocolate on the animal's ear, and Shalom Aleichem, what's your name?
Heshi Tenenbaum
from Muncie. Shalom Aleichem Heshi. Begimas mum bekachim. This, says Rashi, is an added mum. You think that this mum, a little part of the ear missing, covers every single mum. Certainly a mum of the heart, a mum in the lungs. What else could there be? Oh, there could be a female mum, meaning in the womb, a little gam in the womb, that enters the womb. That's also b'gimas mum bekachim. That's considered a gam, and you cannot use this animal. Rav Chizda Omar Av b'gimasakin. So this brings it back to our sugya Chullin, even a little nick of a knife. So then why doesn't it talk about this knife in the? How come he only has a list of 3? There should be a list of 4. The Tanakama. So the Gemara Vidach b'Chullin le'kemayri. I'm talking about things that are only in the Beis HaMikdash, in korbanos like a korban Pesach, a chatas of a nekeva, a bchar, a zachar. A knife goes also in the weekday. You could shecht in outside of the Beis HaMikdash when there's no Beis HaMikdash. So a knife is not included in the list. B'kulon b'gimasan kedei b'gimasam mizbeach. What's a b'gam? How much? How much is missing from the ear? As much as will make a mizbeach non-kosher. We know that a mizbeach has to be perfect, has to be smooth. And if something is missing from the mizbeach, you can no longer bring a carbon. In fact, we had this video, I'll show you. I'm going to use some of the older ones.
Take a look at this. This is the plan. The area is clear.
I got it.
Everyone, stop all your korbanos immediately.
The plan worked. Hello?
All right, so it didn't work. Akaponim, if there's a begam in the mizbeach, at that point you can't bring your carbon. Meisvei. Come up, give me some mizbeach. How much? Top of Yud Ches Amud Aleph, 2 lines down. You take your nail and you run it down the ear, or let's say of the carbon. If it stops, there's a little bump in there. That's the begima. As the Gemara, but we see that the begima is a lot more than a little tiny problem with the nail. Basic, how much is the Reb Shimon tefach? It's a whole tefach, not a little tiny nick in the ear. Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov kizayis. Okay, a whole olive. But where did you get the nick? Like kasha. Hobesido hoba avno. I want you to pay attention to this video because you might know it, but the first part you see how they discard any stone. This is for the building of the mizbeach. Any stone that had a little nick in it, even such as your nail getting stuck in the rock, they put it back. You didn't have to do that, okay. But he's checking for nicks. Don't worry, we have new stuff for today. All right, so we have the stones. Those stones, the begima is tiny, and that's what we learned from that begima of the stone. The lime that they put in, the cement, that begima is either kizayis or a tefach. So when you look at the mizbeach, which I told him to take away, we don't need it for today. The outside of the mizbeach is all lime. So if that's missing, like that little chatas man, he drilled into the mizbeach, that part has to be a tefach hole or a kizayis hole. Okay. In the stone, even a mashu, a little tiny nick in the stone, the stones in the mizbeach, the hole that they put into the form, that has to be perfect, without a single nick. But the lime on the outside, even a kazayis or a tefach, that's a machlokes. At least that. At least the tefach or at least the kazayis. Every shoichet must go show his knife to the chacham, and if you don't go to the chacham, mishamtinenle. You put him in chayrim. What does that mean? You can't be even starved to a minion. You don't talk to him. You can't stand in his daled amas. Whatever you do for a guy that's in chayrim. V'rava Amar, let me top it off. Let me say even more. You put him in chayrim, but more than that, mahabrinenle. You got to get rid of him. In addition to the nidui, to the chayrim, we get rid. He can't work anymore as a shoichet. And we announce on his meat that it's a treifa. I said the story before, but it's in my Gemara here from last cycle, so I'm going to say it again. And this explains a lot about my personality. Once I heard the story, it's like, aha. Okay, it's in the DNA, Nebuch. The Stefanskys come from Switzerland. So my great-grandfather, Rabbi Yaakov Stefansky, was a mashgiach of kashrus, and I just said it. How long ago? Okay, but it fits right on over here. So, how long ago? 3 months ago. But for the new guys in Chullin. Chazara.
Right before the CM in America, you said it. That's 3 months ago. Before the CM. Right before the CM in America. Yeah. It's okay, 6,000 new people, right?
Yeah. So I'll just say it. And with Chazar Hashem, you'll see if I added a little bit, Kedarki B'Kodesh. So,
Just put the knife away before you start the story.
It's part of the story, the knife.
Oh.
So he found out this monkey business going on with the Chayrim over there. He walked into the store. He started talking to the owner and he told him, "Listen, you gotta stop selling or whatever." So the guy says, "Get out of here." He said, "No," he was being rough with him. So the great grandfather went to the front of the store by the door, stood there outside by the door, and the whole day as people came, he said, "Listen, thou verkaufmin treif." Is that how you say it? Not like that. I don't know. Who speaks Schweizerdeutsch over here? No, how do you say it? No, that's in Yiddish. Das ist Yiddish. Ich hab gesagt, Schweizerdeutsch. Okay. Da verkaufen treif. Anyways, treif. Now this guy got super upset. Nobody's coming in that day. So he takes one of his knives, comes running to the front door, and says, "Listen, if you don't move from here, I'm gonna have to kill you." So he said, "Listen, there's a thing that if you chush it on treifus, you chush it on ritzicha." So he pulled out his own knife. He said, "Let's go. I'm not moving. You want to go? You want to duel it out? Let's go." So I didn't have a fighting chance. But it explains a lot of stories. One of Rav Nachman's favorite in the subway. Yeah. We could still leave this here. He made achroz. He says this meat is treif. No machlokas. Kan kishenimtzes b'sakino yafa. Kan b'shloinimtzes sakino yafa. If you come afterwards and you find that there's a nick in the knife, that means all the shchitas he did beforehand are treif. So you got to remove him completely. He was trying to be Michael treifus, nevelos and treifus. Remove him. And don't let him work as the shaykhid anymore, and put him in chayrim. But if you come and you see this knife is perfect, so what was his big sin? That he didn't go to the Rav. Okay, so he's mavayish the rabbi, he's mezalzel in the Rav. So for that we put him in chayrim only, but we don't remove him from his job. Rabbi Omar sakinu yafim min masmeis le befarto. Oh, this is unbelievable. What do? You smear it up with feces, the meat, and even a non-Jew would not buy it. Nobody's going to buy this stuff. Okay, so we have a video for this. You'll understand. No, if you were an artist, how would you do that? How would you show that? Oh, they did it with a tremendous amount of chachma. You should have seen four kids went home at like close to 1 a.m. last night, and they were laughing hysterically when they saw this video.
Hashem Yishmael!
Put him in chayrim, menuda. Ad lo da chadasha.
We are moving out.
A diaper thing machine. Okay. There was a. So before I forget, they say Shulchan Aruch brings down that today it's a little different. You think the shaykhim every single day they go to the rabbi, this, that? No. Today we have special shaykhim. They're learned shaykhim. They know halacha well. They are our shaykhim. They work in the shlachtas, and that's it. It used to be that every guy, he had a chicken, he took a knife and he shechted. He learned till the shechita. It became an issue. So then every single person had to check his knife by the robe. But today they said, no, that's it. These are our shaykhim. We have 100 shaykhim per community. For the whole Yerushalayim, how many shaykhim are there? Whatever they are, they get a stempel that they're good. They're good to go. They never have to check the knives by the Rav. That's how it works today. So this butcher didn't show his knife to the Rav. He didn't bring it to Rav of Bar Chinina. Shamte, so Rav Bachina put him in Chayrim, and he removed him from his job. The treif, he said all his meat is treif. Now it doesn't say whether or not it had a begima. He said it's treif. So one day these two Rabbanim came, Ravashi came to Rav Chinana bar Rava. Rav bar Chinana, sorry, Rav bar Chinana. Omar lahu, so he says, Limsa, do me a favor. I was pretty harsh with this guy. I removed him. He doesn't have. He's jobless now. I said all his meat is treif. I need you to do me a favor. I need to figure out how to get him back in this job. Why? Lion Rabbi will say the talubei tafle, because he has children that are dependent on him. A few times we spoke about if a guy gets a jail sentence. So why is the wife shuldik? Why are the kids shuldik? Rabashkin missed his kids' bar mitzvahs and all. His wife, for years and years, it's a tremendous tzar for the mishpacha. We shouldn't know from tzaras, but somebody's sick, he has the machla, and goes through treatments and everything. It's a tremendous burden on the family. Tremendous tzar. So you speak about it. Hakadosh Baruch Hu takes everything into consideration. It's all considered. It's not like, this collateral. No, it's part of it. It's all part of the plan in the cheshbon. So these kids don't have what to eat. Figure it out. So back to Rav Ashi's Ravashi.
What's beautiful is that even though that was the halacha and the din, he still had Rahmanas on the guy.
Yeah, listen. No, because the Rav could take different things into consideration. Here he took into consideration. What about the kids that are starving? Back to Rav Ashi's Sakine. So Rav Ashi took the knife and he checked it. V'nimtzis yafa came out. There's no b'gima. There's no nick. Machshri. He said, okay, he could go back and work. Amalei Mar Zutra. So Mar Zutra is standing there. But what about Rav bar Chinana that took this guy out of his job? He asked me to find a heter. This is what I found. I'm just doing the rotzen of the Rav. You have a tooth that popped out from, let's say, a human being, an animal. It's very sharp. Or a nail that's no longer attached to the animal, to the person. It's like a knife. It's sharp like a knife. It's mufurish in the mission. We learned it the other day. You cannot use shinayim. You cannot use tzipar. You can't use a tooth and nail. Why? Because they tear. They don't cut nicely. Says the Gemara, it's not a contradiction with the teeth. Why? We have two teeth, so you have the gap between the two teeth. That gap, the skin could push into the gap, and then it rips the skin instead of cutting it, or the simon. But you have one tooth, it's like a knife. And you don't have a kasha on nails. When the nail is detached, then it's good shchita. When it's attached to the body, then it's mechuber. And Rebbe holds that mechuber is paisel. It's not a good shchita. So this is a magal kotzer. Beautiful pictures. As you can see, if you move this sickle from right to left, so you're not going to have any pulling from the blades. It's going to go smooth over the blade. The blade is going to cut nicely and smoothly. If you go from left to right, so every one of those points is going to pull at the skin and at the simanim, and that's terrible. So if he's walking with it from right to left, the end of it, the pointy part, the end, all the way on the left, that hits the neck of the animal first, and it slices through the neck. Beisil say it's kosher. Now, when you read this, you say, what does kosher mean? I can eat it. What does kosher mean? So the Gemara is going to say, no. You can't eat it. Kosher means it's not metama. It removes the nevela from it, but it's not kosher. It's very, very smooth. If you're able to make those points smooth, so there's no back and forth, any direction that you cut with, it's going to slice and not pull, then it's a regular knife. Says Gemara, let's get this clear, because there's confusion all over Klal Yisrael. Ask people anywhere you want. I saw there's confusion in this particular halacha. And that is, a dead cow, a cow that's a kosher animal by design, that drops dead in a person's backyard, gives off tumah the same way that a dead horse gives off tumah, the same way a lion gives off tumah, the same way a dead cat gives off tumah. So all animals give off tumah, they transmit tumah. There's one animal that doesn't have tumah, and that's a dead cow that was shechted, a dead sheep that was shechted, those don't have tumah because the shechita removes the tumah. They're no longer an avela. So says the Gemara, what Beis Hillel meant, that you use this sickle you see on the screen as a shechita device, that doesn't allow you to eat it. Why? Because it's a dangerous device. What if you pull it from left to right? Then you tore the simanim. I don't rely on you. I don't know who you are and what you are. How easy is it to shecht in a one smooth motion, one direction? Usually you go back, forth a few times, whatever it is. So you're going to be careful. I know. And then if you're not careful, you're worried that you didn't do a good job on this animal, so you take it back. Now you just ruined the shechita. You made it a treif. So eating, do not eat. But does it have tumah? No, it doesn't have tumah. That's all I said. That's all Beis Hillel said. I can prove it to you. Beis Shammai say it's possible, and Beis Hillel say it's kosher. What's kosher? It should say mutter aser. I use this knife, it's aser. I use this knife, it's mutter. What's machshir? Machshir is a lashon of tumah. Says Gemara, wait a minute. If it's really a lashon of tumah, there's a much better word that every one of us in this room would have used. Not the lashon kosher, but the lashon of tahar, tamein tahar. I can't be medayik at all from the wording in the Mishnah. It says kosher, it says mutter, it's all the same thing. But what? Yes. So how does Rabbi Yochanan know this? Rabbi Yochanan heard it from his Rebbe, who heard it from his Rebbe, who heard it from Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel never said that a sickle makes the animal kosher. Do not use a sickle. If you used it, it's after the fact. It removes the tumah from the animal, but do not eat the animal. Boys, we're going to see a fascinating sugya here. I want to preface this thing with the kiss of Hashem, as usual. Those that are involved in MDY see this on a constant basis, and it gives a lot of chizuk. A lot of chizuk. I say it all the time, I say it again. When you see a pickup, I call it a pickup, we're able to get a guy like Yoshi to work for MDY. And for years I'm trying to find the Yoshi number 10. We interviewed many people to get that kind of style, a guy that knows how to learn, a guy that has a sense of humor, understands all the nuances, his stuff is funny and geschmack. Very hard. Yad Hashem, the first phone call I ever made, first recommendation basically, Yoshi. Boom. V'chulu, v'chulu, v'chulu. I don't want to make an ayin hara, but every one of our siyumim, every one of our trips, you have a trip to Morocco, and it was on the news that there was a whole Pesach program in Morocco, and they didn't even have matzah. They didn't have matzah, didn't have wine. People were fighting over schnitzels. They're literally hitting each other to get a piece of schnitzel for the children. People were starving. Ayin sham. Morocco was a very, very, very difficult place to bring food. We actually had an issue, like one of the trucks was stuck at the border for 4 days. But that every single thing went so smoothly that by the Kiddush there were 50, Loi Guzma, everybody said I was magzim on the low side. There's 50 types of fish and herrings and zachen, 50 from local fish that the guy bought. That everything went, that nobody got sick, Baruch Hashem, nobody fell, people flew off the ATV, a few people fell, nobody got hurt or injured. And v'chulu, da'il chakim b'remizo, but that everybody had their bathrobe with the MDY logo on it, and then people just, the shiurim, Baruch Hashem, there was a few snags here and there with the shiurim because of the internet, but everything went, and Baruch Hashem. Yesterday, so it starts from Shabbos. I'm learning, I just peeked at this daf. I said to myself, I got to ask Benny to organize a real live kana, because we're going to be learning right now about the kana. I need a real one. Okay, fine, I'll tell him when I see him. Obviously that didn't happen. It usually doesn't. So I saw him, but I didn't know about the kana. So I learned it. In Paris, in the sitting waiting for the next flight, everybody's talking to me as usual, because I don't have to prepare shir. And I'm trying to learn a word here, a word there, and then I bump into this kana with the kaiva and the whole tabasa gadol. What in the world? Oi! I got to tell Benny. So Benny's sitting right there. He says, Benny, you got to get me a kana. He's like, he looks at me and says, it's already 3 o'clock. All the schlachthäuser, all the shechting places are closed in Eretz Yisrael. There's no, even if I know somebody, you're done. He says, you know what? Let me call Itzik Leibovich, the guy that won the $2,000 raffle. he drives sheikhtim once in a while. He calls him up. He says, I'm in Haifa now. Haifa, do you happen to be by Shlachtas? He says, yeah, I'm driving the sheikhtim. They just got into the van. We're leaving. It's closed. He says, listen, I need a kana. She turns around to the sheikh. He says, get me a kana. He says, there is no kana. The place is closed. He says, I'm not driving home until you get me a kana. Get me a kana.
What is it in English? It's
the trachea. The trachea. Give me a kana. I want everything on it. Kids, the guy, they start looking for it. They look through the garbage. I said a kana. We're not going. Get me kana. So the guy goes. He finds a head, a whole head. He says, there's one head left. It usually goes through this machine that just chops it up. One head, a final head. He cut it open and brought us a kana. Here we got a kana. You know, it's beautiful. I'm serious. It didn't smell. It's good stuff. Fresh. Yesterday, shechted yesterday. He told us, he came to the shir last night. He says, you don't understand the Siyat Shmaya. I happened to be there. I don't drive these guys. It says once a week kind of thing. You called me as I'm pulling away from the shah. We're pulling away. And because many times I see with the especially with the props, different Siyat Shmaya is when I threw the feather and went from here to there. I just said it recently that I tried it later many times. It didn't move. It went over here. Okay, here we go. It's very nakishmak. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is a cow. This is massive. Massive. Okay. This is the air conditioning pipe. This is what a cow breathes through. Very large. Very, very large. I was surprised myself. This is cartilage, this white thing. What the Gemara is going to talk about, is that the cartilage is not a ring. Right over here, I actually put my finger right in there. There is nothing here. You see? It goes up to here and stops. Up there and stops. Right over here is meat. This, Rabbi Isa, is the veshet. This red thing, I don't know how I'm touching this. I'm not the type of guy. But hey, anything for the shir. Ratings is ratings. This is what the food goes down. Right over here. This is the kind of veshet. So when they slice, the slicing, they have to slice 2 simonim. This guy did a fantastic, look how beautiful it is. Right through here. Now where exactly is the slicing? That's today's sugya. These are the air conditioning pipes. You see the different rings? Many rings here. 1, 2, 3. Could you see them? We're going to see a shita that says you have to slice in between the rings. You can't slice the actual ring. Right over here, there's the final ring. It's called tabas hagdoila. It's much larger, but it also has one thing that the other rings don't have. It goes around and around. It's a complete circle. It's a real ring. There is no meat on the bottom. And there's a sheet that says that the entire shechita must take place in the tabas hagdoila right over here. Just this one over here. Weiter. This right over here, everybody has. This is called the Adam apple. Right over here. You see the spitz? Zoom in, Gary. Do me a favor. I need a good zoom on this. Okay. Right over here. This. And if you notice, it goes downwards. This is a shipua. It's like a slide. It goes up, and there's a point. This point is where things stop. This is what we call the Adam's apple. We have that little spitz in our neck. That's what it is right over here. Okay. So, I want to show you this exact thing of how Yoshi did it. It's beautiful. So now we understand. There's a tabas hagdoila. I don't really have it here in front of us, but let's see it. I'm going to try not to drip on my Gemara. Okay, so that's what we just saw. I see the tabas hagdoila here. I don't know if you notice it. It's a different color, but here we'll see it. Here's tabas hagdoila. Okay, so that's right over here. If you're looking at it here, it connects the other rings of the kana, right? The kana is like a air conditioning pipe, mamish, and has these rings. It connects, there's one final tabas hagdoila, and then comes the kaiva. This is the kaiva, this piece right over here, and this is the point, the highest part of the mountain right over here. Okay. Take a look at this. Inside, I'm going to show you those are the chitim he's pointing at. Tabas Agdoila, Tabois. Okay. Well, I'm going to run through these so everything is clear before we even look inside, and then the sugi is going to fly. Here's that koiva, this whole thing right over here. We see it over here. That's the koiva and the top part. Tabas Agdoila is just another ring, but if you look at it, and I'm going to show it to you clear, that's Tabas Agdoila. Here's a picture just showing how a typical ring does not go all the way around. There's a little tiny piece of meat that pops out in the bottom of it. And that's why the Gemara says you can't shecht on that kana according to that shita. Oh, that's what it would look like without meat. So it's open. But on the other hand, this is the Tabas Agdoila, the final ring. Take a look at it. It's completely enclosed from all sides. Come on, what shear in the world has this? Yeah, mamash ring. Now, take a look at this. These are the different possibilities of shechting. Here he shechted in between the rings. Did you notice? Look at the green line. It's in between the rings. That's okay, according to everybody. I don't know how you get in between a ring. I guess you feel it. You have to feel it. What? You feel it. They know how to feel. Now, here's a guy shechting the actual ring, which is problematic. Right down the middle of a ring, take a look at the line in the middle of the ring. No good. Now let's talk about hagrama. Hagrama is that I'm going to cut the Tabas Agdoila, but it's very dangerous to cut over there. Why? It's great. It's the best place to shecht. But what if I cut like somebody that cuts challah on an angle? You know, he's not the best challah cutter in the world. And by mistake, he goes left and he hits the koiva. That's called hagrama. Because your shkid has to be nice and straight right down to the Tabas Agdoila. If I veer off, that's called hagrama. I'm shechting in the wrong spot. I'm shechting the koiva area. No good. Throw this animal out. What if I shechted 51% of the Tabas Agdoila? Then my knife goes, I make a sharp left turn. That should be okay, l'chayr, because I did a roiv. Let's see how that looks. That's good. That's perfect. What did I do here? I left a sliver of the ring on both sides. At least on the side closest to the kaiva, I left a sliver. So that's perfect. That's mamish what you need to do. But what happens if I do this? You know, that's exaggerated. But the point is, I veered off. But in this particular picture, he shechted already a roiv. He already had the roiv of the kana. And from there on, what is he going to shecht? What's underneath it, the veshet, this thing underneath, that's okay. Mamish moirdik. So happy. I'm happy that we have these knives. We got the most usage out of from all props. Mamish scared Mendy, scared Mati Belsky with them. It's moirdik. Okay. So let's see inside. If we need to come back to these pictures, we'll come back, but that's basically the sugya in from the top. What tabas are we talking to, Rabbi Isai? Tabas Agdoila. Tabas Agdoila again is the tabas that we see over here in the picture with the green line through it. That is the number one tabas, the first ring, and that goes in a complete circle. He shechted it similar to this picture right over here, that there's a hair's breadth. To the left of it, he went right through the entire thing. Shchita seksher, that's a perfect shchita. You don't need the entire thing. All you need is like this green thing right over here, most of it. Come Rav and Shmuel and say a bomb. They drop a bomb here. Rav and Shmuel, first of all, we pass on Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. That what? All you need is a roiv. Even if you do agrama, even if you shecht it into the kaiva, you're okay if you have roiv. And these are words that we're going to have to come back to, so try to remember them. He only said that this whole halach of shechting and roiv and everything is in the tabas agdoila. Because it's a complete circle. So if you just read it, like I read it in Paris, it says over here that you cannot do shchita according to him in this part of the kana. Let me see. I don't see it here, so let me raise it up. In the tabas agdoila, you could shecht. Let's get this off. But this white part over here, you cannot do shchita. But Rashi says, no. What he meant to say is you can't do shchita stamazoi, but if you do it in between the rings, that would be okay. Now you have to be a big mumcha in between the rings. Even I did it in between the rings. That was the easier way to do it, in between the rings. Okay. What? There's no. You don't have to. You can't do shchita in the other rings. What do you mean? Even this animal right here was shechted in the rings. Now I don't know if it was in between because I see nice cut cartilage. So according to this shchita, it would be no good the shchita. Right? Look at the cartilage. You see the cartilage right there. I mean, obviously he shechted the actual ring. To me, it looks like that. Okay. Says the Gemara, here, if we stop here, here's the question. It says shechting in the other rings. These rings do not have a complete circle. Since there's a roiv, Rubik Kuloi, it's good shechting. If I make a left turn, I hit the koiva psula. What? He did the shchita on the tabas agdoila, and then he veered off, he steered off into the koiva, into this part. No? This way? He veered off into this part right over here. That's no good. Hey, Reb Chanina ben Atignas Amugremes. And Reb Chanina ben Atignas said on this veering, Shik Sheira. Says Rashi, Vafilu kula lemala min hatabas agdoila. Even if you, lemala means towards this way. So even if you are completely past the tabas agdoila, provided that you're not at this point on, you're not by the Adam's apple on. If you get it in the koiva from the Adam's apple to the left towards the kana, then you're okay, even if you're past the tabas agdoila. Tabas agdoila is here, you shechted over here, you're okay.
Including a centimeter. It adds a centimeter.
Yeah, I don't know what a centimeter is, but yeah.
Up to the tabasco.
Yeah, from the Adam's apple on the koiva, because the koiva is actually up to here. This is the Adam's apple. So from the Adam's apple to here, no good. From the Adam's apple on the koiva to this way is good, even though you didn't touch any of the tabas agdoila. Why? When the Torah, Akash Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai that agrama cutting into the koiva is no good, mishipui koiva ulamala. This is the koiva. Do we see it or not? I just need to make sure that we see this koiva perfectly. Oh, now I can see it. Right over here, this guy. Oops. Right over here.
Oh, shipui kova.
Shipui koiva. It goes like this. There's like a slide. Do you guys see it perfect? I don't know if it's good enough. Oh, that's a better one. Right over here. From here downwards, no good. From here this way,
Is that bone?
it's cartilage. It's cartilage. Yeah, this is cartilage. It's moving. Very cartilagey. Okay. Oh, so the question is that Rav and Shmuel say that if you shecht in anything, look, Rav and Shmuel say if you shecht over here, it's mamish pasul, it's treif. Over here we see Bashir B'shar Tabayis that it's a good. What these? No, but because they're not good tabayis. They explain that it doesn't go around in a circle, whatever that means. It's not a kana. Fine, it's not a kana because look, it doesn't have cartilage all the way around. No, nothing to do with the grama. It's not. It's shechting a leg. If you shecht the leg of a carbon, it's a grama. Okay, so yeah, exactly. It's not the place. But if you shecht between the kana, it's okay. Fine. Says Gemara, Omer Rav Yosef, Rabbi Yosef reviewed the Tarti Kamar. There's two halachas that Rabbi Yosef said. Rav and Shmuel were only talking about one part of Rabbi Yosef in the Mishnah. That what? One halacha is that if you shecht most of the tabas agdoila, we said 51% of the tabas agdoila, you're good. Even if you did hagrama and you shechted into that koiva thing, you're okay. The other halacha that Rabbi Yossi talks about in the Mishnah is the other tabais. He holds the other rings, the rest of the air conditioning pipe is okay, and Rav Shmuel argue on that. They argue on one thing and they agree with one thing. As the Gemara of V'loy Omar Kamri, the lashon of here. Look at the lashon on Amud Aleph. You don't have to turn the page; it's right here. They're explaining what Rabbi Yossi said. It's one halacha they're talking about. Where do you see two halachas here? So this is what they meant. Halacha, we only agree to one of the two halachas. They're pointing out one of the halachas because they only agree to him in that halacha. We don't agree that you can do shchita in the other rings. He came back with a tremendous chutzpah. He was just spitting out sponsors like that. Oh, but he has mamish. You have to put him in his place.
He doesn't know how.
Turning to the Daf, Adar Global Specialist in International Financial Services, Chaim Milradli, Nishmasi Mimirosi, Frada, Etel Bas Yitzchok Olea Shalom.
Sponsors.
It's pater.
Oh, you know what? I told him to do this, and he worked on it. Why wouldn't I show this? Here's the koiva. Here's that spitz. You see where there's a dotted purple line? That's the point. Check this out. If you shecht to the right of it, that's closer to the rest of the rings, green, it's great. From that spitz downwards, it's all red. Perfect. Now I see it great. That's great. I made him crazy at 11 o'clock at night to do this.
No, I'm saying the editor should use on the screen like arrows to point to all the different.
Oh, now you give him extra work.
Sorry.
Okay. It's funny that I could just touch this, and this was in a cow's head, walking around and yesterday eating grass, and I'm like this, that. Okay, when you don't know, you don't know, and then you can eat steak from it. Zog the Gemara. How long are we in? We're 53 minutes. Shachris is going to be sorry, guys. I need to tell Shachris ksat beichu. Kisalik Reb Zera comes to Eretz Yisrael. Let's think about this for a second. Reb Zera comes from Bavel. What do they do in Bavel? Rabbi said, what do they do in Bavel? They don't eat shchita over. Ma koreh? Shalom aleichem. Mata, אמרו לי שתהילים וזה. ברוך הוא יפך חוילם. Wow. Okay. You got me nervous.
It looks better than before.
אתה עוד יותר בריא ממקודם, הוא אומר. מה היה לך? אחר כך. זה לא המקום. אוקיי. Kisolik Reb Zera. That's it on my part. Kisolik Reb Zera. Oh, I got to tell you about this essay. It's the best. It's the best line ever. Kisolik Reb Zera. I forgot what it stands for. Situational awareness. Situational awareness is more like Rabbi Isai. When you get on a plane, there are other people there. You don't take out your tuna sandwich in front of everybody. There's certain things, situational awareness. You don't flick your tzitzis into people's heads. Situational awareness. Once you know this matzav, then you chap. Oh, this guy lacks a little bit of it. This guy doesn't. Some situations he does, he doesn't. Okay? You were waiting a whole week to say Vaiter. You were screaming at the screen. Mugremes Rav Shmuel. What's Mugremes Rav Shmuel? That they said that if you cut into the tabas you go into the tabas and you steer off, you go into the koiva, no good. Amalei.
It's in the other rings.
It's in the other rings. Mugremes is not. Yes. Okay. Fine. Made a mistake. You're right. Yesterday I said it well. Today not. Rav Shmuel say the other rings are not good, even though it says mamish the words in my Gemara here. Shar tabayis. Okay. Omar lehei. Amalei. Lav maasir. What's funny?
Nothing.
It's whatever. I get one off. Omalei lav maasir Rav Shmuel. I don't understand. You come from Bavel. In Bavel, they don't eat from these rings over here. Shchita in these rings no good. You coming to Eretz Yisrael, all of a sudden you become a makel. Amalu mana moro. Why should I care about that? Yosef Achia. He's not a medactic. He said Allah. He heard it from somebody. He heard it once in Chullin, and he said it over as if you can't eat it from this part of the animal. No, I don't go with that. Shomer Rav Yosef, who said that he's not a medactic, heard about this. Ikben. He's upset. Omar, I learned from everybody. Anoma Rav Yehuda Gamirna. I learned from the top of the top. The Talmud of Rav and Shmuel. The Afilu Sveikid the Gavri Garis. He's so medactic, Rav Yehuda, that even if he forgets who told it to him, he says over both names. I don't know if I heard this. The famous Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Rav, Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel, all over Shas. Over here he says Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Rav Omer Shmuel. I don't know who I heard it from. So he's so medactic to say the Shmuel. So of course he's going to say the halacha itself perfectly. We had it on Nomad Aleph. You have a firstborn male. It has a little mum, so then the kohen benefits from it. Who decides if it's mum or not? Even 3 people, if there's no okay, so you heard it either from Rav, either from Shmuel. Let's say you come from America to Eretz Yisrael, and in Ma'ariv they don't say Baruch Hashem Lo'olam. So what do? According to this Gemara, well, I know what you do, but maybe according to this Gemara you should say Baruch Hashem Lo'olam. And then you should be makbid on Birkas Kehanim, because you do the Chumrah of Eretz Yisrael, you do the Chumrah of America and Shalom Yisrael. You got to do the Chumras of both. If you come from Nahar Da to Medisa, from Echayza to wherever, Surah, thank you, then you have to be makbid on all your Chumras from place to place. And from Eretz Yisrael, you come from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim, etc. Great. If you come from Chutz La'aretz, Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, or in one direction from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, then you have to keep all your minhagim from Eretz Yisrael. And Bavel Eretz Yisrael, it's similar to what we have today. Not 100%, but maybe more. You can say more halacha comes out from Eretz Yisrael, more of the poskim. So we in Chutz La'aretz we bow down to the halacha of Eretz Yisrael. So when I come to Eretz Yisrael, I'm going to do exactly like them, and I'm going to eat from the shechita from this part. You could even go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. What?
You have to be machmir from Bavel.
Yeah. When they have, it's only, we have it today, people don't come from Aliyah, they just come for Sukkot or something. So if you have in mind to go back, then you have to be kaim all your minhagim. Maybe that's mamash the sugya, that you have to keep 2 day yontiv when you're in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because you think about going back. But Reb Zera and Datil Achzor, he made a full Aliyah. How do I know he made a full Aliyah? Because he fasted 100 Tanesim so he could forget how to learn like a Babylonian. He wanted to know how to learn like Eretz Yisrael. So he was there to stay, pick up the minhagim, only 1 day, Yantiv. Rabbanon who came from Echayza, they're the ones who say what? That you're allowed to shecht in the kana. He says that it's kosher, that if you shecht in most other rings, these guys right over here, it's kosher. So what are you telling me that in Bavel they hold that it's not kosher? Here, there's a place in Bavel. Omerlei, Naharu Pashte. What does that mean? It means that every stream has a different direction, a different flow, a different power. Also human beings. Every human has I want to tell you a sad story before we go. One sad story, I think it's so sad, but it could have toyelas. Rabbi Ben Shushan told us a Maisa that maybe it's not for public knowledge, but too bad. I'll ask him afterwards. He's a real artist. He draws beautifully, and during class he used to draw beautiful pieces of art. And one day his Rebbe pulls him out of class and tells him, "Let me see what you're drawing." So Punk that day he was drawing a picture of Parai and his bodyguards. He had these bodyguards with big muscles. So he tells him, "A Ben Torah doesn't draw muscles like that. What are you doing?" He takes his drawing, rips it up. And then he took every one of his drawings from this whole folder from the whole year, ripped them up into shreds. He said it was one of the most hurtful things. He says, Adi Mazeh, he has certain pieces of art that he made, and people offer him a lot of money. He says, I'm not selling it. It's part of a neshama, part of this. But then he finished off on a high note. He says his father transferred him to another cheder. His father warned him. His father's a Moroccan Yid. His father said, listen, if you mess up, I'm going to cut your tongue out. So he really wanted to watch his tongue. He needed his tongue. He says it's important to have a tongue. So he comes to the new school, and he's very careful. But on day 1, there was a test. And of course, he knew his stuff. It was day 1. The guy next to him, who later on became his best friend, whispers to him, I need the answers. He's like, I'm not giving you no answers, I need my tongue. So I need the answers. Finally, fine. So he writes down the answers, and he does one of these yawning moves, and the paper falls to the floor. The problem is the kid, his feet never reach the floor. They're dangling on the chair. So he's trying to grab the paper with his feet. And meanwhile, the Rebbe shows up. The Rebbe, first day of school, the Rebbe shows up. He says, there goes my tongue. The Rebbe picks up the piece of paper, opens it up, looks at it. Says, Ari, you got 100 on the test. You got 100 on the test. Very impressed with you. Very impressed. And I want you to draw a whole thing. You gave him a whole thing. You're going to draw for me. He says, this Rebbe built him up. One lashon, he could have managed to destroy him. Instead of destroying him, he used the right seichel and built him up. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.